It's August 24th. There was a lot more to the dream, but the only scenes that I can remember, and I'm trying to find the connection to the scenes. It's a combination of symbolism. But I think the intention is to trigger people with this dream. I mentioned that just as much as people, the intention behind this was to help people connect, not feel alone in their journey of healing. That some part of my story would resonate with them, right? So that they wouldn't feel alone. But I also have this awareness that my story will also trigger people. Because we just trigger one another by default, simply by existing. And so in this stream, the theme, at least in these last few scenes, the only theme that I can pick up is the theme of mother. The theme of mother. And disbelief. The theme of mother and disbelief. In the first scene, I'm at a conference. I'm speaking. And there's a conference that I'm supposed to speak at. You know how it's at a hotel room or a restaurant that has a conference room? So the conference is going on over there. I don't know if I finished talking or if I'm about to go in to talk. But there's a group of people, I think I might have, I don't remember, but there's another group of people that come from the conference, so it must be at the end. It's a small group of people. Some are familiar, like they're maybe old friends. The feeling was old friends. Then I see one of my clients. Now this client knows about my story, so not all my clients have access to my journey. Only those where the therapeutic relationship is such where it's more open, it's more comfortable. And she's there, and with her, she got triggered, and I prepared her. I said, you're going to get triggered. And she remember she asked me, she's like, can you tell me where? I said, no, because I don't know what your story is. This was before like we started working with trauma and just her story. So in my dream, she's there and I'm seeing her. I'm surprised to see her. It feels like there's a gap. And so I just want to go and hug her. Like, hey, like, you know, like I want to go and hug her. And one of the triggers that she had written down, and I had told her, write down your trigger so we can talk about it in session. A lot of it is mom. It's mom. Themes about mom. The second scene, I'm checking out this beachfront property, and there's a bunch of properties. And I like this particular house. It's beautiful, and there's beach, like it's just gorgeous. It's a big one compared to the other ones. My mom is there, and my old program manager is there. She used the feeling at work, at my old job. She was like a mom. She was like a mom to me. And I remember when I left, I felt my heart broke. Like I had a hard time leaving work because I had just become a supervisor, been half a year as a supervisor, and the intention, right? You marry your work. And I knew I'd broken their heart, right, by leaving. And I was having a hard time leaving. And I remember crying at our like final, like, you know, what is it, where your employee interview out or whatever. And I remember crying. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't plan for this, but I really couldn't. I couldn't hang on anymore. My body was just screaming, this is not for you. And I just couldn't function and maintain it anymore. And then she, like, you could tell that there was disappointment. I could feel it. And she was trying to, like, tell me, it's fine, it's fine. But I remember I struggled emotionally with that loss. At the same time as I was relieved, I was struggling because of the commitment, right, that I had made initially. I'm like, okay, I'm supervisor, and the plans and the visions, you know, you get caught up in planning, right, and envisioning what's gonna come next. My mom's there, and I'm telling my mom, and so my old program manager's there, and my mom is there, and I'm telling my mom, do you like this property? And she's having it same thing, disbelief. Both of them were in disbelief of where I was. And I'm asking my mom, do you like this property? And she's having a hard, she's saying yes. I'm like, go find out how much it costs. And instead, she goes to the other property, a smaller property, because I guess they were having like a job as a cleaning lady. And she's like, oh, I went to go find out if they're hiring. I said, no, Mom, that's not what I asked you to do. Go find out how much this property is, because I was going to buy it for her. Like, there was just this, like, I knew, I got this. And she didn't go and find out, and instead she was going to find a job as a cleaning lady at the house next to it, which is a smaller shack compared to the big, beautiful beachfront property that I'm telling her to go check out, and to find out how much it costs, because I was going to buy it for her. And she had the feeling was disbelief. And she was, and my old boss, my old program manager was there too, and the feeling that I got from her was just disbelief. That's so wild. That there was a theme, but there's a theme, a connection. There's a part two. I completely forgot about this part. It's still, I don't know if I'll put it together, but it's still August 24th. And when I woke up, I hadn't listened to MJ's morning message. So I'm listening to it right now as I'm trying to get ready. And the title, this is what triggered it. The title is called What Needs Clearing? What Needs Clearing? And I had forgotten that the first, so I stayed up late last night into this morning, literally until like 2 a.m. And I stayed up late because I stayed up late until like a little bit after midnight because I was still working on the divorce documents. It's all done. But then I realized that my memory chip had finished. So I was like, oh, let me transfer, the files to format the disk so that I could have it ready just in case I dream, even though I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna dream tonight because I'm going to bed really late. I'm glad I did. Because of the dream that I had, the mother theme the theme of mother and disbelief. And then when I saw that title, it triggered the first part, not of the dream, but before. So there was a gap. I was trying to go to bed. Gosh, how do I explain this? I went to bed for the first time. I'm laying down and you show up. I wasn't sure that it was you. And by you, I mean, Jose Cisneros. I felt this energy, like holding me. The feeling that I got was not wanting to let me go. That was the feeling. And I remember, and I was like this, sleeping like this. I was like, whoa. Remember, I didn't realize that it was you, though. That's the thing. I realized. I didn't realize that it was you because I didn't realize that it was you because I mentioned that more recently the dreams where you're in my dreams. You feel like a stranger to me in my dreams. Like I don't have that same emotional connection to you, almost, where even so the reason why I stayed up late until 2 was because I started, as I was changing out the formatting or taking out, it's a process. It takes time before it gets cleared out. So I'm like, oh, in the meantime, let me listen to the next chapters, right? I've prepared almost the next 4 chapters, which is almost, it's into the end of September now. Mind you, we're in the middle of August. And I'm listening to the stories. I'm like, oh, snap. Oh, snap. Like, all that's going down. And a lot of the dreams that are coming up, you're in my dreams. You're in my dream state. The dreams are about you. And there's this inner knowing that it's for your healing. That's all I know. And then the other ones, I've forgotten about some of those other dreams. Like the one where you're whispering in my ear about Super Bowl. You're going to the Super Bowl, Arizona. And just the other details, I'm just like, I don't remember this. I don't remember this. But even how I describe you, I feel your love, like the connection. I feel the connection with you. Even though in a lot of the dreams I keep repeating, but I don't know you, I don't know you. After a certain point, I don't even remember what point. It was when after I had that dream where you left, you moved on. That was the dream that I remember. You had moved on. We were older and we happened to cross paths, and I see you and I could feel your disappointment. And remember, I could feel your disappointment because you had settled. You decided to settle, and it was with an Asian lady. She was Asian, and there was a little boy. And I remember I was a little heartbroken. I was like, you settled. You settled. But I could feel your I could feel your sadness in my dream that you had settled. And then it just triggered the other emotions where it was like really like so it was so painful. It was just so painful. I remember that. So anyways, after that, when you would show up in my dreams, there was no more emotional connection. You feel like a stranger in my dream. So that's why I didn't recognize that it was you holding me last night, energetically holding me. It felt like it was a stranger. And I remember in my half right dream state thinking, no, it was after I woke up, and I'm like, who is this? Like, I just remember thinking, who's holding me? Who's holding me? But at the same time, there's this light feeling of, oh, it's you. Like this knowing that it was you. And so what I do is I turn you around. And I remember facing here. And I turn you around and I see your face. And so I'm like, it's you. And I'm just doing this because I'm tired. So I'm patting you. And you were afraid. You were afraid. worried, not so much fearful, but just worried, like afraid, like you just needing, it's okay, it's okay. And that's what I was saying to you while I was asleep, and I'm just, it's okay, don't worry. And you're, you know, like I'm reassuring you, I'm reassuring you. I wake up and I'm trying to think, like, what am I reassuring you about? What am I reassuring you about? One. But then two, because I wasn't completely sure that it was you, I just remember thinking, this, whatever this was, I could feel the worry and I thought it was like low vibration almost, like this, like latching on, not wanting to let me go, feeling. So it's, I hadn't felt, it was just a different energy. And so immediately I hadn't really put the puzzle pieces together that it was you. But I just remember thinking, do I need to do a clearing? Like, whose energy is who followed me? And I'm trying to think of where I went yesterday. I'm like, I just went to the grocery store, and then I thought, and was I low vibing it? Because low vibe attracts low vibe, and I'm like, well, it was sad. I wouldn't say it was low vibing where I was like wah wah and let it drag on. It was more of, I'm giving myself permission to feel sad because I got triggered. So it wasn't. So so that threw me off. But I dismissed it. Like I was like, that's so weird. I just remember the distinct shift emotionally, and then somehow kind of knowing that it was you and just reassuring you, but at the same time you felt like a stranger, because you are to me, right? You're a stranger, I don't know you. And just the reassurance, and I wake up and I'm like, what am I, should I be worried about something? Or are you worried about what are you worried about? Yeah. So in my head I thought, when I wake up I need to do a clearing, right? Because I'm still trying to figure out whose energy it was. Even though it was a slight, whiff, I'm like, I think it was you. And then I have that other dream, those other dreams, because there was a lot more in the beginning, but the final scene was about Mother. So anyways, why am I bringing this up? Because MJ, what triggered that first experience, energetic experience, was the title of her thing. It's called What Needs Clearing. So I was like, oh snap, the energy from this morning. You know what she's talking about? She's talking about making space, needing to make space for what you're wanting. Needing to make space for what you want. But she's also talking about the Virgo new moon. The Virgo new moon. We're in Virgo season. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Not today. I forgot. At the end of the month. So anyways, Virgo new moon, I think. So she's describing, right, when you learn to work with energy, she's talking about this is the season that to work on your daily routine, to stay balanced, right? Self-care. Virgos are all about self-care and routine and structure and the details of stuff. That's why I've been really focusing on trying to stay balanced, right? But she's highlighting, she's not just highlighting that, but she's highlighting the impact of the other birth aspects and parts in your chart that I'm still not familiar completely with. She's putting out another birth chart class, and I'm debating whether or not to take it. But anyway, she's highlighting, where is your Taurus during this season? Where is your Taurus? And so before I get to that, she's highlighting about Virgo and staying balanced with your self-care, which means, right, setting boundaries with other people so that you're not overworking. So that you're not overworking. That one's for you. So that you're not overworking. And what else did she say? She said, I'll include the link, clearly. But she's talking about, just if you're what you're wanting, you need to make space, which means you have to let go of stuff. You need to let go of responsibilities, right? And so so then part of what she's saying is about you taking charge of your life. Your North Node, Jose Jesus Cisneros, is also in Leo, but it's in the opposite house of mine. And it's interesting because she gives examples, and I love that her birth chart and my birth chart are almost similar in terms of the placement of the zodiac signs. Because when she shares hers, I'm like, okay, I can connect that to mine because the positions are similar. And so, yeah. So she's like, where is Capricorn in your house? In my house, Capricorn is in the 4th house. It's in the 4th house of home, of mother. Or the 3rd house. 3rd house. One of those. So here's the thing about North Nodes that I found out. There's an overlap. Depending on the type of chart that you're checking out, there could depending on where your North Node is, if it's closer to the edges, there's a possibility that the positions of certain planets shifts into the other house. I noticed that because my North Node is traditionally the 10th house, but it's also in the 11th house. That's where it's how close it is. And the 11th house is about art for humanity, creative vision for humanity. Hence what I'm here to do, right? But yours is the opposite of mine. So it sits, if I remember correctly, in the 4th house, but also the 5th house. But you have a lot of stuff in your 5th house. Like that's creation, right? You have creation. But it's also in the 4th house of home, right? Mine is the opposite. Father or work. Yours is home. That's why you like to stay at home. That's why family is extremely important to you. But your energy to embrace is in Leo. And the book that I read was all about, as a Leo North Node, our task is to create passion in our lives, not to wait for other people to create it for us, but to create it ourselves, to take ownership of what we want and do it without waiting. That's why I'm not supposed to wait for anybody, right? That's why I struggled in my marriage, was because I waited for my ex to initiate when I'm supposed to take charge of my happiness. So you are supposed to take charge of your happiness. Whatever that looks like for you. But it was interesting because she was talking about all the other placements, like where is Taurus in your house? That's what, because we're like the same season also. Where's Taurus in your house? For me, Taurus is in the house of relationships. For you, Taurus is in the house of the self. And she's saying wherever Taurus is right now, that's what you're needing more of. So for you, you're needing to focus on you because it's in your 1st house. Your rising sun is a Taurus. You're supposed to embrace that energy as part of your self-expression, like who you are. But it's about you, not the opposite. For me, it's about, it's in the 7th house. So that's what I'm needing more of right now, is I'm needing more of relationships. I'm needing more the nurturing in my relationships, partnerships, collaborations. That's the 7th house. But for you, it's about you. It's about you and creating your happiness, your sense of stability, right? But you need to let go of what's holding you back, what's not allowing you to make space for you. And so then I thought about the dream, because the theme was mother. The theme is mother, and the theme of disbelief in that, like, they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. And I was trying to provide for my mom, because that was a big theme for her in our life was she wants to be taken care of. But in my dream, and when I'm telling her to go find that house, how much it costs because I'm gonna buy it for her, she's choosing to, I don't know if it was because of the disbelief that she couldn't believe that I could afford it. And in my dream, I'm like, I got this. Like, I could afford it. I knew I had enough abundance. And instead she goes and tries to find a job as a cleaning lady in the little shack next to it. And I don't know if it was because she didn't believe me or because she wanted to do something for herself. But then my boss, my old program manager there, and for her it was more just disbelief, the same thing. Disbelief. She couldn't believe where I was at, what I had reached, what I had achieved for myself. Anyways, that's all of that got triggered just by listening to her morning message, seeing the title that reminded me of your energy. Hey you, my name is Yubi and I use she, they pronouns, and you've just finished watching a clip from my video diary entries where I'm documenting my healing journey as I learn how to navigate my spiritual awakening. I have learned that this experience and process is unique to each and every one of us in whatever way we are embracing living our truth. This just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of formal mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself as these experiences unfold, and really inviting you along for the ride. Please know that there is a time gap between when these videos post and my real timeline, and also that these clips build upon each other similar to chapters in a book. So if you find yourself lost or confused, feel free to click on the playlist section or the link below, where you can jump around, check out the other chapters, and or catch up. Also, please know that you're more than welcome to check out my website, www.youbecominghealed.com, where I've gathered all of this information, my background, experience, and education to create online self-paced courses to help you on your healing journey wherever you are. You're also more than welcome to check out my other YouTube channel at You Becoming Healed, where I've entertained a podcast, including clips from these courses so that I can make this content accessible to more and more people. Please click like, subscribe, and share this content so again it reaches more people, with the hopes that other people will resonate and connect with the healing journey and the stories shared so that they don't feel alone in their own process. I thank you in advance. I'm grateful to you, and I wish you well.